We just heard from the Palestinian delegate to the United States about the latest crisis here in the Middle East. Now we want to get an Israeli perspective. Joining us now is Danon. He's a Likud member of the Knesset until recently. He was the deputy defense minister, but he was fired because of his strong views on what's going on. Danon, thanks very much for joining us. The Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, a man you know well, he fired you because of comments you made, specifically when you suggested that the Prime Minister was proving he was irresponsible. The Prime Minister was irresponsible in going along with a ceasefire. You oppose the ceasefire. Why?
Wolf, I have a reputation of being a straight shooter. And when the Prime Minister accepted the premature ceasefire, I told him I cannot accept it. It is not responsible. We cannot have a ceasefire when there are dozens of tunnels beneath the border, when there are thousands of rockets aiming at us. I said it publicly. He fired me, but he changed the decision. And now I support the Prime Minister, the people of Israel, telling Netanyahu, keep going, do whatever you need to do, but bring stability, bring tranquility to the region. And we know that we have to continue to fight with the Hamas.
Because since you were fired as Deputy Defense Minister, the government accepted a few ceasefires. Hamas did not. Let's say they accepted other ceasefire right now. Would that be appropriate?
I think it will be a mistake. You do not negotiate with the Hamas. You do not beg with the Hamas. You make them beg. And I think what Secretary Kerry did in the last week was a mistake. He put Israel and the Hamas in the same level. It's like I will tell you that the U.S. and Al-Qaeda are in the same level. We should fight with the Hamas.
Why do you say that the Secretary of State of the United States put Israel or Hamas isn't even recognized by the United States? It's considered a terrorist organization. The U.S. doesn't even talk to Hamas. Why would you say that Kerry, the Secretary of State of the United States, Israel's major supporter, would put Hamas in the same category as Israel?
Secretary Kerry's proposal was an insult for us.
Why was it an insult?
Because when you say a ceasefire between the Hamas and Israel, and you don't address the main issue of the missiles, or of the tunnels, today he spoke differently, and I think he spoke better. But last week, we said, cease the fire, let's talk. We cannot talk with a terrorist organization.
My understanding was that that proposal he put forward, which Israel didn't like, and the cabinet unanimously rejected it. We reported that first right here on CNN. They didn't like it because it didn't necessarily allow Israel to finish destroying those tunnels and getting rid of those rockets. The Israelis weren't happy about that.
Look what happened.
But Kerry says that Israel can do that now.
Look what happened only 4 hours ago. 5 terrorists tried to get into a kibbutz in Israel, to kidnap kids, to commit a massacre in Israel. We cannot finish the operation as long as they have offensive tunnels against us. Imagine that you had tunnels coming from Mexico into Arizona with Al-Qaeda forces. What Secretary Kerry would have done if that would have happened? We need to fight with the Hamas as long as it takes. A week, a month, a year. We're backing Netanyahu to do the right thing.
And if he accepts the ceasefire, you will?
It's not only me. The people of Israel, the majority within the Likud party, which I'm a senior member, will tell him, you cannot finish the job in the middle. We started, we have to finish the work with the Hamas.
The outgoing head of the Defense Intelligence Agency of the United States, the Pentagon, the DIA, as it's called, Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, he was at a conference in Aspen, Colorado over the weekend, and he said this. I want to play this clip for you.
Sure.
Listen to this.
If Hamas were completely destroyed and gone, we would probably end up with something much worse. So the region would end up with something much worse. There would be a worse threat that could come into the sort of the ecosystem there, and be more dangerous. Something like an ISIS or an ISIL, or other of these groups that are in that region right now. So we really have to be careful.
He says, you heard him, he's the head of intelligence at the Department of Defense at the Pentagon. He's outgoing now, but he says, be careful what you wish for. You get rid of Hamas. What could emerge afterwards might even be worse.
I beg to differ with this opinion. What can be worse than the Hamas? What they will do? They will dig tunnels, they will send rockets. Every night I have to take my 2 daughters to sleep in the shelter. So what can be worse than that? We are not afraid from what will be after the Hamas. Yes, we think about ISIS and Hezbollah, and they are watching this conflict. And if the outcome will be that we are weak, then Hezbollah and ISIS will come after us. That's why we need to smash Hamas. We need to go against the Hamas and to do it militarily, not negotiation. You don't talk with Al-Qaeda, you fight Al-Qaeda. President Obama, he did the right thing when he hunted Osama bin Laden. We need to treat Hamas like you, the people in the US, treated Osama bin Laden.
Danny Danon, the former Deputy Defense Minister of Israel, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Danny Danon here in Jerusalem, a strong perspective.